All right, we've just got our first, or maybe not your first, but maybe a different way to think through how to set up your Google Ads. But your first Google ad is up and running. Maybe you've duplicated it, changed the headings and stuff just to see if one works better than another. Maybe you've just left it, which is fine as well. But now we want to set up our social ads. So we're going to do that inside the Facebook Ads Manager. And we're going to do it now. But before we do, I just want to mention I'm going to be using Business Manager. I cover this pretty extensively in the Facebook for Beginners course. In summary, the Business Manager or Ads Manager, as opposed to just setting up an ad from the Facebook page itself, it is a much less clunky way to have visibility over those three different layers that we've talked about: the campaigns, ad sets, and ads. It's much easier to stay organized in there, and it's also the best place to have a look at an individual ad level, even like at the audience or ad set level, to control things like turning individual ads on and off, editing them, updating budgets or managing your budgets, having visibility over the performance of the ads. All these things are way easier to do in Business Manager than on the Facebook page itself. So if you haven't used Business Manager before, this will look a little bit unfamiliar. What you'll want to do, let's take a quick look. What you'll want to do if you haven't seen it before, you'll come in here and you'll hit it for the first time. And what it'll do, it'll probably redirect you, I think it's to /create. So just put /create or /overview. /create will bring you to this page and you'll create a Business Manager account. Now, I don't need to do that because I've already got multiple businesses set up in Business Manager, one of which is Geelong Winery Tours that we're going to show you today. We're going to set up the ads in there. I've also got, naturally, the chartered courses in here. So if you haven't set up Business Manager before, go to business.facebook.com/create and you're going to create a Business Manager, which is essentially just like a box or an entity where you bring in, where we bring in other things like, think of it as a bucket, and in that bucket we're going to throw our Facebook business page, this business page, that business page, our Instagram page. We're going to put our people, so literally like us and our employees or the people on our team on that is on Facebook that we want to give permissions to. You put all these things, all these assets into a bucket, and then Business Manager is the place where you can organize them and provide things like, manage things like permissions and stuff as well. So this is the back of Business Manager, and I'm just going to go into it for Geelong Winery Tours. If I come into business settings, you can see here in people, there's myself and my father has access to this. If I went to things like accounts, pages, you're going to see Geelong Winery Tours as a page. So that's the nature, that's the idea of that asset being in here. The ad accounts, it's automatically going to set you up, correction, it won't automatically set you up with an ad account unless you've already set up ads in Facebook. But if you have, the ad account's going to be there. You're going to bring in your Instagram accounts. So everything is in there connected together, and you can start managing permissions. For example, like here, I have permission over this page, but you could come down here and go, okay, I don't want this person to have permission to create ads, for example. I just want them to be able to view insights or something. But in a nutshell, I'm starting to rant a bit. In a nutshell, Business Manager is just a great place to stay organized in Facebook and have really good control over your ads. Enough said for now. Let's get into actually setting up the ads. So I'm going to come back across into Ads Manager. So all I did was click in the top left-hand corner there, and then I clicked Ads Manager. There you go. And that's where we can start viewing our ads. You can see these are the two little campaigns that we ran in the first Facebook Ads for Beginners course. So you can actually see the results and stuff in there. What we're going to do, I'm going to go back and remind myself in here. Okay, we were going to set up a new brand awareness campaign to an audience to our local capital city, which happens to be Melbourne CBD. Within 30 kilometers, they're going to be 30 years plus, they're going to be into wine and maybe a frequent traveler. So let's set up that campaign. And then when we set up the campaign, we're going to start putting our audience inside there and then the ads inside there. So let's come back to Ads Manager, hit create. And because we're at the campaign level in Ads Manager, it's going to start at the campaign here. Had we been inside a specific campaign and hit create, it would have thought that we wanted to create a new ad set audience or new ad inside the campaign that we're already selected in the back end there. But because we're at the highest level at the campaign, it knows that we want to create a new campaign. So choose your objective. So we're going to come down and we are just going to go, I'm going to go traffic for this. No, I'm not. I'm going to go brand awareness. Here you can see the awareness campaign. They're our objectives inside an awareness campaign. For a consideration campaign, we're going to be in here, and for a conversion campaign, we're going to be in here. I said brand awareness actually, but let's go traffic. Let's drive traffic to the website now. So the campaign name, we want to name this something that actually makes sense. You could see before, I think I named it Winter 2020 Traffic. So let's go traffic. Let's go let's call it the Getting Going Again 2020 campaign, and I hit continue. All right, the ad set is the ad. So the audience, is not the ad, it's the audience. So the audience is Geelong and Melbourne wine lovers. That's sort of what we're going to be going for. So let's name it something that makes sense when we go back in and visit the results later. Let's make sure that makes sense to us, what that means. So scroll down, create a new audience, add a previously created custom or lookalike audience. Here are some things that we've created in the past. We could use them. We'll have a few custom audiences, or also in saved audiences. Here's a few. That's our visitors to the region. We'll come back and use that for the other one. We've done it before, so we can use it. Let's assume that we haven't created this audience before, so we can go through it, and let's set it up. So location, again, it's Melbourne, so we're going to get rid of this, and it's going to not like us when we do that, and we're going to go Melbourne. So I'm going to go Melbourne, and I'm going to that's 40 kilometers. I reckon that's not bad. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to drop a pin instead, sort of, and I'm deliberately doing it over there. So when we go 40, 50 kilometers, whatever it ends up being, it's going to catch this side of Melbourne and not the other side. And it's not really a problem if it catches some of the suburbs and stuff over here, because there's not a massive amount of people over there. So let's go up to about that. That's not bad. Going to go a little bit further. I don't want to go as far as Ballarat. It's not the end of the world. I do know that Geelong Winery Tours runs tours off that way. That's getting Western Melbourne. Now we're going to drop another pin just down here, and we're going to catch Geelong and some of the Bellarine. So here it is. So you can do this as many times as you like, but I like that. And you can see here in the top right-hand corner, audience size is starting to change. So before that said however many million, now it says 2.8 million. Now we start layering on some of the other demographics, and that's going to come down. And you want to manage that down to the thousands, or at most maybe 20, 30,000, at least maybe just a few thousand. You want to have it set at a level where you're actually going to be able to consume your budget on a daily basis to a really good target audience, but you don't want it so small that you're not going to be able to consume your budget, because then you're not going to make the sales. So here we go. Let's choose age, and I just chose. I think I was choosing 30 plus. I made note in there, and we can come back to that if when we add the detailed targeting, it's still too broad. We can tighten this up. If it's not broad enough, we could always bring that down a bit, but I sort of want people a little bit older, maybe that have a bit more disposable income and more interested in things like wine. So now that we've set the age, now we're going to go and start choosing some of the interests. So let's choose food and wine. So they must be into food and wine. And that's still quite a high audience. We're going to narrow the audience further, so they must be into food and wine, and they must be, let's say, a frequent traveller. There we go, frequent traveller. That's brought it down to 160. That's not bad. And let's say narrow further. Let's see if there's anything more in wine pairing, food and wine tasting. That's good. That's a really good one. 49,000. I don't mind that audience size. It's still a little bit high. You could sort of like bring it down further. The next thing that I would do to probably bring it down further is remove the 65 plus. I might move it to like a 60. You can see that's brought it down to 44. You might move this up to 40, and then you're sort of like getting to the people that are probably less likely to have, really young children at home. They're probably more likely to be able to get out, might have a little bit more disposable income. So I'm really comfortable with that 18,000 now. So remember, this is the audience, Geelong and Melbourne wine lovers. So just going back, we've set the location. They've got to be within that. Now we've tightened up the age, and we've said they've got to match this and this and this. So it's really cool. We've got that. Now at the ad set level, we're going to set a budget. We're going to go, we'll deliver the ads to people as many times as possible. No, let's choose most likely clickers. And let's change the budget here. You don't need a massive budget. Like $5 a day, you're going to do plenty of learning here. So you can see here, estimated daily results, 520 clicks, 350 to 1,000 people seen it. And here we're going to set a start date. And today as a start date is just fine. And I'm going to put an end date in a month just to control the budget, make sure like I can guarantee I'll be in here in a couple of days having a look at the results and tweaking things. However, if you just want to set it up and forget about it and not run it indefinitely, this is a good way to just make sure that you control your ad spend. You can see that it's just grabbed 2 months ahead. I don't want 2 months ahead. It's trying to trick me and get more money out of us. That's about a month. So let's just hit continue. So now we've got the campaign set up. We've chosen our audience inside the campaign, and now we're starting to set up the ad. So this ad we were going to go back to. Let's come back into here, and it was this stuff. So discover world-class wineries just down the road. I really like that. Let's build it around that. And so let's call the ad, let's call it that. That's going to make it easy to remember it when we come back into it. And just make sure that if you've got multiple pages in your business manager or in your ad manager, make sure that you've got the right one chosen. We do for both these accounts. Here we're starting to set up the ad. So we've chosen a single image. You could choose a carousel, which is when you set up a carousel, you get like multiple images and headlines. That's a really good one for, like say you had a shop website and you wanted to put, it might be like, say you're a winery and you wanted to stick up you had a Cab Sauv and a Pinot, a Sauv Blanc, and you want to link to them individually and you want to tell the story of them individually, or just highlight the fact that you've got, all those wines available. Carousel would be really good to do. And a collection, they're starting, once you get into collections and things like that, that's starting to get a little bit more complicated. I don't want to get into that today. Let's stick to the single image or video. The carousel would be very well within your skill set. If you can set up a single image, you can set up a carousel as well. So let's add the media. I'm going to add an image. There should be images in this account already that are pretty good. But if you wanted to, you could just select upload and upload a new image of your own. So I'm bearing in mind, it's probably only small groups right now. Let's go. And here you want to remember as well the demographic that you chose. So the demographic we chose was, remember, was an age of 40 to 60. So you probably don't want to put people in this photo that look significantly under 40 or significantly over 60, because then it's not going to make sense in context of the person that is actually receiving this ad. So let's choose, that's a nice behind the scenes type of one. Let's go this one. So we've got our image. You can see it's just tidied it up a little bit there. If you wanted to, you could click through here and have a look at how it looks on desktop, mobile, etc. Here, the primary text, I actually wanted the primary text. Let's go that one. You don't need to remember where each of the texts go. Once you start adding it, you're going to quickly remind yourself. This is the headline down here. So the headline needs to be one of our strongest pieces of copy that we've got. and we're going to go with Discover World Class Wineries just down the road. That's relevant for regardless of whether they're in Geelong, up near Werribee, or in Melbourne, for example. Same with you. Same for you setting up your ads, whether they're a local or whether they're from that sort of near city. Just down the road is makes complete sense. You can see there on the mobile view, it's getting cut off a little bit. So let's see if there's anything we can do about that. Discover World Class Wineries. Let's just go. Let's go visit World Class Wineries just down the road. Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't fit. Discover. You can see their Discover's starting to get trimmed off. World Class. But their visit doesn't. So just down World Class. Let's go. Let's go visit World Class Wineries just down the road. That'll do. The primary text, let's whack in a description, which will probably only be visible on desktop, but let's see. You can see here it's saying add another option. So there, add up to 5 options to the primary text, headline, etc. will show people the combination they're most likely to respond to. This is Facebook's answer to people not duplicating tons of posts and making lots of different versions. Everybody's guilty of that if you were doing a lot of marketing through Facebook over the last, say, 5 years. Now they've got this option so you can add in variations, and Facebook will automatically create those different variations so you can see which runs better, one or the other. So I'm going to go to grab that, and I'm going to pop that in there, the website URL. So we're getting close to done. That's looking pretty good. Visit World Class. You know what I want? You can see when I click across there, that's brought in that other piece of text, the description there. I'm going to go World Class Tour, the World Class Wineries just down the road. What I actually want to do, what I'm trying to achieve, is for this to actually speak more directly to people that might be interested in tours, and not just generally like people interested in wine on the Bellarine. So I want to make sure that people understand what our product is, or what our service is. Celebrate the best food and wine we can find on the Bellarine. Guided tours to the best food and wine on the Bellarine. That's starting to get actually better than this headline copy. That'll do. We can come back and tweak that. You can see here it's saying you can change the call to action button. Learn more what works for us, works for our product. That would be a great one. See menu for if you were choosing, if you were a restaurant choosing to advertise to visitors currently in destination. That would be an awesome ad to run. See our menu. That would be a really good ad to run. So I'm going to come down here, turned on Facebook Pixel. Again, go back and have a look at that Facebook beginners course to see what a Facebook Pixel is and learn a little bit more about that. I'm not going to go into it right now. This ad may not run, so that's fine. You may or may not get that if you're not like promoting wine or beer or whatever. That's only warning us there in case our ad doesn't meet the local laws for age, for example. Ours does in this case. So I hit confirm. Hopefully it publishes that and it goes under review, which is part of Facebook's process, and brings us back to the ads manager in the back end. So there you go. We've got our ad set up. You can see this is our campaign. So across the top here, we've got those 3 levels that we've gone into: campaigns, ad sets, and then ads. So we've got the campaign here, traffic going again in 2020. So if I click that, you can see there's a filter applied there, and now I'm only seeing audiences inside that campaign. That's the audience we set up. If we wanted to have a look at the ads inside that audience, we would just click that, and now there is the ad that we've just set up. So now we've just set up our first ad in Facebook. The next thing that we're going to go and do is just set up that other ad to people that may be visiting the destination now. So let's go do that.